the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. Like I haven't seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up and put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. Like I haven't seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you guys are like being wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's important. You don't like money so much, why don't you get up and go to work? Everybody do think about all the things that you think about. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for mine. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class,
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Periscope. Good morning, YouTube, and wherever you may be catching this show. Thank you for checking out Talking Money in the Morning. I'm your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my very best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. Today, I'm super excited. We got a great show lined up for you today. I've got a powerful guest who's going to bring to you some practical wisdom on the stock market. But as with every show, we always start out with letting you know exactly who this show is for. This show is for my risers and grinders this morning. If you got up with legacy on your mind this morning, this show is for you. If you got up this morning and you said, I know I've got to get up, get out and get something, like Outkast used to saying, this show is for you. If you know that you have something in you that can bring wealth to your family and you can set yourself up and your family up for generations to come, you're just looking for some practical wisdom to help you along the way, this show is for you. But just like we like to let you know who this show is for, we also like to let you know who this show is not for. If you have an issue with me saying the word money in the last 15 times in the last 30 seconds, this show is not for you. If you got an issue with money, think all wealthy people are snobs, this show is not for you. If you believe that money is the root of all evil, this show is not for you, because that's all we're going to talk about today. And I realize that people have a very strange relationship with money, so much so that they will always, and I mean always, because of that strange relationship, repel money away from them instead of attract money to them. Because think about it, if you think wealthy people are jerks, then why would your subconscious mind ever allow you to attain wealth? Because then you yourself would become a jerk and then thus have to hate yourself. And your subconscious mind is not going to let that happen. So unless you fix that relationship with money, you're always going to have issues and problems with money. So I don't have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I have a problem with you having a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. So this show ain't for you. You might want to tune us out. And so again, you're checking out Talking Money in the Morning with H. Cortez. We're talking about taking the sting out of stocks. I'm going to introduce our guest here in a moment, but let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about our sponsor. Today's sponsor is KidVest. All right, KidVest is a program targeted at our youth that will help them understand the power of investing and get them into the frame of mind where they understand a simple principle. And that principle is this: ownership, right? You can always go and buy products from a company or a brand, but you can also go and buy a piece of a company and a brand. And our children need to know that at a very early age. So KidVest helps teach investing over an 8-week course to children so they can better understand the power of ownership. And you can learn more about that at ergj.net, or you can check out the ERGJ Enterprise fan page on Facebook. So guys, I told you I have an awesome guest for you this morning. So without further ado, we're going to let you in on who we have for you today. We have none other than certified financial educator, from founder and creator of ERGJ Enterprises. This guy knows his stuff when it comes to the market, but more importantly, he knows how to break it down and teach it at a level that I think we're all going to be able to get and appreciate, so that we can start really owning pieces of these companies that we spend so much money with, so that as they grow, we grow. So without further ado, I want you guys to give a warm welcome to Mr. Evan Jefferson. Evan, my man, are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Always a pleasure to have you on board. So super excited to talk to you this morning about taking the sting out of stock, man. Now, you know, like I know, for whatever reason, and we can, I know you're also the conspiracy brother, so we can talk about why why people have a fear of investing in the stock market. We know that's a systematic design, but let's just put that to the side for a second and just break down for the people why there should not be a fear of investing into the stock market.
Well, I mean, the reason why there shouldn't be a fear, I mean, I think fear typically comes from unknown. So if you are unaware, uneducated, and don't know, then there will be a fear there. So in order to overcome that fear, that's why we have what we call education. So you educate yourself on the things that are possible. Now, for many people, the reason why there's some fear there as well, because for a while we didn't have access. So now we're talking about two words, or actually three words: one, awareness; two, education; and then three, access. Well, we got the access. Access just means that anyone can open up a brokerage account. I tell people you should have 3 accounts in life. You have your checking account, you have your savings account. We've been taught about those, but most people haven't been taught about the brokerage account, which gives you access. So you got access by opening up a brokerage account, and it's very similar to opening up a checking account. Very same process. You find a broker that you like, or that you're comfortable with their terms and their conditions. You provide your personal information, and then boom, you've got an account open. You got to fund it the same way you fund a checking account. The only thing is that you'll use it to get into the market to buy or to become an owner, a part owner of whatever company that you are, that you do research and that you like. And so, so I think that the fear comes from one, not having the education, and then two, not having the access. And so I think both of those have been broken down, and anybody can have access to the market, even kids. So just last year, in a year's time, we were able to help 50 people open up get their first stock, and also 12 children buy their first stock. So this is the type of things that we're doing to help people overcome that fear. Because sometimes, I remember when I wanted to ride that bike, right? I didn't just get on the bike and ride. I had somebody to help me to get over that fear, to kind of walk me along the way, and go from the tricycle or whatever. You have the little handles on the bike to help you, and then you let those off, the training wheels, get the training wheels off, and then next thing you know, you ride. And so the whole thing that I like to do is make sure I get people to the training wheel phase, and then we knock those training wheels off.
Awesome. That's some powerful stuff, man. Access, education, man, and so important. And then in this day and age where you're talking about so much, though, information is available, sometimes we understand as both Black men about the power of miseducation, that with so much information being out there, it's also easy to miseducate yourself. So why don't you talk a little bit about, we know when you enter college, you have your one-on-one courses, your two-on-one courses, but sometimes you have those classes where you have a prerequisite before the one-on-one. So why don't you talk a little bit about some of those prerequisite type readings or places where people can go and just start to begin to understand the language of investing when it comes to the market?
Yeah, so understanding language is very key. That's kind of where you start. With anything, anywhere you go, if you're going to a foreign country, you're gonna need to learn the language, or at least learn some of the language. If you're gonna play baseball, you're gonna need to learn some language. When to bunt, when to hit, when to steal. So you need to learn the language. And so I would say, easy places to go, because I'm all about, you can go into seminars and things like that, but I'm all about starting with what's available to me. And so I tell people all the time, you got a smartphone, are you doing anything smart with it? So you have places that you can go to start learning language. One of the best places that you can just self-educate yourself and read 15 minutes a day. I used to, when I got started, I used to be at working at a Fortune 500 company. I used to take my breaks, 15 minutes, go walk around the little campus, and the whole time I'm reading. And so you can go to a place called Investopedia.com. Investopedia.com gives you tutorials. They give you, kind of self-paced type of, Q&As. They got all the definitions out there as well. It's a great place to get started, just to kind of dive into this language. They're all about. It's like the encyclopedia of investing, but they have tutorials along the way. That's a great place to get started, just to start learning the language. Another place that you can go to start learning the language is just simply what you're going to do anyway. Most people are going to watch TV, but what are you watching on TV? Very easy place to go is going to be somebody like a CNBC or Bloomberg or something like that, a financial television show, where you might not understand it at first, even if you want to watch some of the talking heads, but you can understand when they say Facebook or when they say Apple. You can understand when they say Disney or when they say Nike. Now, you may not understand all of the numbers and the symbols, but you can at least start to get yourself indoctrinated or familiar with the language and then as you hear words that you don't understand, and you go back to Investopedia. What does that mean? And then that's kind of how you can self-educate yourself. You can be on a level that's, I would probably say, that's probably 80% higher than anyone else in probably 30 days if you just do that. Not even having to pay for anything, not just using what you have using what you got to get where you want to go. Start from where you are.
Gotcha. That's super powerful. And you said a word in that whole dissertation that is very key, and I try to get people to understand that. You said indoctrination, right? Most people don't get the fact that we have been indoctrinated to be super consumers, right? Well, there's nothing wrong with being a super consumer if what you're consuming is going to benefit you and not just the companies that you are buying these products and things for. So you can literally become a super consumer of stocks, and that's going to put your family in a better place down the road if you understand that. So let's start indoctrinating ourselves in wealth building principles. There's a ton of ways to get wealthy, and stocks are just one of them. So that's why we have my man ERGJ on, so that you can understand that. But talk a little bit about the different types of stocks. So we're going to pretend that we're 30 days later, and those people who are listening today have taken your advice. They've kind of gotten their feet wet. They got a little bit of an indoctrination going on. So talk a little bit about the different types of stocks that are available to most people.
Well, before I do that, I think I want to jump on something that you just said about being a consumer. And I think it comes down to breaking it down to a place that you really can understand it. So to all the viewers out there, you got to first ask yourself, if you were to own your own business right now, let's just say it was a retail business and you sold clothes, would you be more apt to buy clothes, to wear your own clothes, or are you going to go and buy clothes from somewhere else? And so it's a very simple thing to think about, right? Well, I own this store and I'm selling merchandise, clothing. And of course, if I buy the clothes, if I wear my own clothes, I get free advertising. A part of that money comes back to me because I bought it from myself. Those are things that happen as far as building up your brand, right? But if you go and buy someone else's clothes, well, then you're competing with your very own brand. This doesn't make any sense, right? And so it's the same thing with stock ownership. If you decide that you want to, you're a Nike lover. Well, it's going to feel that much better if you're buying from Nike because you own some of Nike. And then it's going to feel good to put money back into your pocket. It's going to feel good to walk around those Nike shoes and advertise Nike, because guess what? Every time you advertise or free advertising, that is putting money back into your pocket, because other people may buy those great shoes just because you got them on. So it's about understanding economics. It's about understanding marketing. It's about understanding business. So I'm not going to, I'm more apt to go to the gas station that I got stock in at all possible than to go to any other gas station, because I understand that money is going to come right back into my household. So that's kind of what that is. But as far as the different kind of stocks that you can own, I mean, It's stocks and it's bonds. Stocks are pretty much what you're going to buy or you're going to own in order to look for appreciation and or dividends. It's more you're looking for money to grow at its own, at its own pace. Bonds is where you are actually looking for interest. You're loaning your money out to an institution for them to use for growth, and in return, they're going to pay you back in interest. So so that's typically has a maturity date. It typically has something to tie it to it where you're going to get a set amount back. So stocks are great because you can get there's no set amount. It's unlimited growth opportunity. And that's why you hear something like growth stocks. So like a Tesla, for example, is a growth stock. They're all about research and development. They're all about trying to come out with new products. They're trying to go to the moon, all the good stuff. So they're putting a lot of money into their company for technology and to be ahead of technology with the electronic car and things like that. And so you're really looking at a company that's pretty fresh, pretty brand new, but has a lot of room to grow. And so as they grow, quite possibly, then your money can grow right along with them as more and more people believe in the growth that they're doing. You got dividend stocks. Dividend stocks can grow, but more often than not, you got a little bit of stability with those, just because they're going to pay you back. What they do there is they take the profits that they have as a company, they give a portion of that back to their shareholders. So you can get 1%, 2%, 5% back from what you have invested in the company just for being a shareholder. So even if it doesn't move, if it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, you still got some money coming back to you just for being a shareholder. So those are dividends of what people call income stocks. Typically, as you get older, you're looking for more income. You're not really concerned with growth because hopefully you've grown your money. You're up until the point that you retire. So it's important to understand the system as well, how it's set up. I teach not only about stocks, but I teach about 401ks and TSPs and all that as well, because even if you're not in the market from an individual standpoint, you still have a retirement account. And guess what? Your retirement accounts are tied to the stock market. So either way, you still need to learn this so that you can maximize your returns in your retirement accounts. So that's important as well. People, I tell people all the time, if you were to lose $20,000 in your retirement account, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even budge. But if you were to lose $20 in your couch, you'll be tearing the whole house up looking for it. And that's a shame that we don't pay attention to our very own money, and it can be stolen or it can be lost just like that.
Wow, that's very powerful. Guys, if you're just tuning in to Talking Money in the Morning, we are having a conversation with my main man, Evan Jefferson, founder of ERGJ Enterprises. He's a certified financial educator, and one of his fortes is the market and helping you understand and taking the sting out of the stock market so that more people can get involved. Because I talked about a couple of weeks ago, Evan, I don't know if you were tracking, but I did a show on building wealth versus buying wealth. Now, my forte is building wealth, talking about building brands, building businesses, because that's where I think a lot of working class people can start, is if you don't really have a ton of money to buy wealth and you're afraid to lose money. So maybe building a business of some sort, that is the same thing. You're investing in that business and you're building equity in something. Well, when you buy wealth, you're doing the same thing. You're just not building the equity into something. Someone else is building the equity and you're giving them your money to help them with that, continue with that building process. And as that company continues to increase in value, that asset continues to grow in value, then your stock becomes more and more valuable. So super cool stuff, man. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. Give the people one or two practical tips. Now, this show is specifically for working class people. So how can a working class person start the habit of investing in stock? Maybe if they want to put $20 to the side every pay period for a stock purchase or something, how can you guide them in that regard?
Yeah, so let's talk about taking the sting out of stocks. Really, that's how I got started, guys. I got started. I wanted to learn about this thing. I realized that getting wealthy in America comes in a couple different ways, and one is by stock ownership. I decided I wanted to go this route versus owning real estate to begin with, because I don't want to do all the property management and all the reconstruction and all that stuff. So I started here. And you know, I decided that, hey, $50 a paycheck I was going to take out. I did that for 10 pay periods. I had $500. What was I doing during this 10 pay period of time? I was educating myself. I was learning. I was going to seminars. I was watching channels. I was talking to people. I was doing whatever I could to learn whatever I could, joining Facebook groups that talk about stocks, things like that. This is what I was doing the whole 10 weeks. And I said, okay, once I get $500, because guess what? $50 a pay period, it doesn't hurt that much. It's just like you would send it to your 401k. I just said, I'm investing in myself. So once I had that $500, I took $250 of it and I bought my first stock. Now, of course, that means I would have had to know what I wanted to buy before I bought it. So during that period, I had built what we call a watch list. I started watching companies and paying attention to their charts and things like that. Those are things that you can do, but to make it practical for you, very, very practical. I tell people like this. If you today were to say, you know what, I believe in one company and one company only. This is the company I'm ready to ride or die. This is my Titanic. I'm ready to go down with this Titanic. You got to ask yourself, what company would that be for you? Whatever that is, that's where you can start. Because here's the deal, guys. I want you to be in a position where you can go to sleep at night and not feel bad. You can say, you know, I believe so much in this particular company that, you know what, they are going to be here in 10 years. They're still making money. They're still making products. They still are going to be a great company. That's where you can start. I tell people, start with your rocks. Start with the things that you absolutely believe. Don't start with your uncle's tip. Don't start with the penny stocks. Don't start with all of these risky things. Start with something that is a rock that's been around forever, and you know it's going to be around forever. Now, will it blow up? Not necessarily, but it gets you in the game. Let me say that again. It gets you in the game. And I tell people all the time, we read the story when we were little. I don't know if they still teach it. It's called The Tortoise and the Hare. And the tortoise wins every time. So if you have the mindset of long term, you have the mindset of 10, 20 years from now, not just for yourself, but what about for your children? Your children can help you get rich. Why? Because your children set the trends. Your children set the tone. It was your children that knew about Facebook before you did. And Facebook has gotten hot and grown 218% over 5 years. It's your children that knew that Instagram was hot before you did. It's your children that knew that Snapchat was hot before you did. It's your children that knew that Pokemon Go was hot before you did. So tap into your kids. What are they interested in? Because guess what, guys? Business, all of marketing, for the most part, 90% of it is targeted towards your kids. And whatever your kids decide is going to be the next thing that they see on TV, they're going to wear, what shoes, all that stuff, it trickles from the bottom up, not from the top down. So it starts with your kids, where they want to eat, what they want to wear, what's hot. I tell you, what's hot? That's it. That's all you got to ask yourself. What's hot? And is that whatever is hot, do you think that it'll last, that it'll stay around for a while? Like Pokemon Go, it's not going to be hot forever. You know, it may got a year in it, right? Because by the time it, you know, it's going to lose steam. Something new is going to come out, some newer technology, some newer games. So it's not going to be hot forever. But, you know, are we going to be using computers forever? Probably. You know, are we going to still be going to Disney World? Probably. So think about what do you think is hot and what's sustainable, and make that be your rock to start with. You know, before you start getting all of the chart reading and all that stuff, things that you can do from a next level analysis, you don't really have to do analysis for no-brainers. It's a no-brainer. So what are your no-brainers? And start there.
Gotcha. That's super cool advice, guys. And I, you know, as I'm building my wealth, I know stocks and invest in buying wealth is something that is in my very, very near future. But I want to talk about something that's a little bit more serious, and that is affecting us all, especially you and I, two Black guys. I don't know about your family situation, but I'm the father of 5 sons. In fact, my mom and so my brothers and sisters all have boys. So my mom has had 15 grandsons before she had our first granddaughter. So you're talking about someone who is very has something at stake when we're looking at the social condition that we're in. And we're talking about police violence against Black men, and now it seems like there's some retaliation and all that kind of stuff. But I think you and I both agree that a lot of the social issues that plague, especially the Black community, can be solved with economic empowerment in the Black community. And I like to say it like this: it's extremely difficult to develop a community economically without capital. It's extremely difficult to empower a community without empowering the people in that community economically. So you got an event coming up this weekend where you're going to be helping people do that, empower themselves economically, which should and hopefully spill over into empowering the Black community economically. So talk a little bit about that event for me.
Yeah, so when you start talking about empowering the Black community economically, obviously we're talking about self-empowerment, empowering your household economically with finances. You know, you want to get to a place where you have built up enough FU money, like Marshawn Lynch. Like, hey, you know what? I got enough money. I'm going over to Haiti to do my own thing, FU, right? But not only just that for yourself, but then also the businesses that support that community, right? Businesses being the doctors, the lawyers, the insurance companies, the banks, whatever the case may be, because they're the ones that actually can help make the community itself. When you go out of your house, you're typically going to be going to a business to do business with, to buy your groceries and things like that. So that's empowering the community. So this we just had the movement of you know, the move your money movement, which was a lot of people were starting to transfer their money into Black banks. Well, I said, well, hey, let's try to take that a step further. So to show you how you can actually invest in some of the banks that you are moving your money to. So it's going to be doing a class this not this Saturday, next Saturday, August 6th, on how to invest and buy Black bank stocks. You know, many people don't know, you know, all of them aren't publicly traded, but there are a few, and we'll go in and we'll look at some of those companies, you know, look at some of their charts, try to help you understand, even give you a lesson about stock buying right in that same class, so that you can understand that, hey, I can not only do I have my money there to be lent out. In other words, I'm lending my money out for the bank to use for the development of that local community. But then I also can take stock ownership in that bank, so that as that bank grows, as we continue to advertise more people to bring their money to that bank, and that bank grows and they do more mortgages, they do more loans, and they have built their capital, well, guess what? I've got money on the back end that's also growing along with that bank as well, because most people will say, hey, how's that bank going to help me? Are they going to give me a loan? Well, guess what? It can help you if you help yourself by getting double for your money, by also taking ownership in that bank as well. So now you have a vested interest to go out and tell other people to come to that bank. Now you have a vested interest to go around with the whatever, the car magnet or the refrigerator magnet or whatever the case may be. You'll feel proud to tell people, hey, I bank at this bank, but you'll also have a back end motive going on as well, because you actually have ownership in that bank.
Awesome, awesome, and that's something that I consider myself to be somewhat conscious and looking at ways that we can actually move and steamroll this thing to greater heights. And I had never considered owning stock in a Black bank. So that is super powerful, something that we all should be plugging into. Man, this 30 minutes have flown by. We're at the bottom of the hour. Guys, if you're just tuning in, you missed it. You're going to definitely want to get the replay. I'm sitting here with my man, Evan Jefferson of ERGJ Enterprises, and he's talking about taking the sting out of stocks. I don't know about you, but he's made it really easy. And I'm confident now that there's nothing to getting in the game. See, a lot of us have hesitated to even get in the game, but he gave some practical tips on how we can do just that. We don't have to win right away. Just get in the game. And as you continue to play, you will eventually learn how to win. So we're at the bottom of the hour, Evan, and I don't want to do this close out without you giving the people about 30 seconds. Let them know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, ERGJ.net, ERGJ.net is the website. Getting it updated now with the class for next Saturday. ERGJ Enterprises, that's where you can find me on pretty much all of my social media platforms. I'm very heavy on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter and also Instagram, but I'm very heavy on Facebook, LinkedIn as well. And those are the places you can kind of follow me. We'll be having, we're ramping back up now in August for the kids with Kid Vest. We also have Teen Vest and Adult Vest. And obviously we teach a lot about not just investing, but teaching about money itself, because we want you to stay out of debt so that you can use that discretionary income to grow. It's counterintuitive to be in debt and also trying to get interest at the same time, because you're pretty much probably paying more in debt interest than you are in collecting interest. So teach a lot about principles just about money itself, wealth building, asset management, retirement, whatever it is. You can always reach out to me. And if you have a question about some things you'd like to do, we can always set something up and take things from there.
Awesome, awesome, guys. Today's show is brought to you by KidVest, which is an Evan Jefferson program where he teaches kids how to invest. If you want to know more about KidVest, go to ergjj.net, and you can sign up for that program. It's an 8-week program, excellent for kids, teaching them how to invest and start the process and breaking the cycle early, so as they enter into adulthood, they don't have the same fear of investing because they have a keen understanding of what it means to own. So guys, you have been tuning into Talking Money in the Morning with your main man, H. Cortez. And as always, I want you guys to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. We're out.